Okay, once again, welcome back to another edition of the Lunchtime News Review right here on Star TV and Star FM radio. Well, my personals for today is, as usual, Yankuba together with Modu Baji. Gentlemen, welcome, Yankuba.
Thank you, Mr. Camera, and thank you to the viewers for joining us once again.
All right, Modu Baji.
Yeah, it's another week on the weekly news time review. We say hi to everyone watching currently.
All right, thank you very much. Well, today we start with the Gambia. As you already know, the Gambia is experienced 24 hours heavy rainfall, which led to the destruction in the Ibotan community. The rain, which started in the late hours of Friday, continued to the last day and led to the annihilation of the Sanyankunda family home in Ibo town. Yamuda Kuka, tell us more on the story.
The 2020 seasonal climate forecast was released in June, and it predicted that the amount of rainfall will be above average as a quantity of 1,000 millimeters is expected to fall, which may lead to floods in the communities. Fatou Sanyang, a member of the Sanyankunda family, said that the rain was very strong and had caused destructions in her family abode. She further said that the destructions happened at 3 a.m. while they were all inside, but she thanks Allah that they knew it was about to fall and then ran out. She declared that no one was injured or dead, but most of their materials like the chairs and the beds were spoiled because they could not remove them. Dudu Sanyang, a resident of the Sanyankunda family, had this to say.
Wow,
what the woman told you was how it happened. It was around 3 a.m. when the first room collapsed and it affected the other rooms. We were all out pulling the materials, but we thank Allah that no one was harmed. That is due to the fact that life is more important.
Is more value than any property. Yeah.
He further said that he thanks Allah that it gave signal before it collapsed, and the children are all safe. He said that they have been facing trouble sleeping due to the fear of impending disaster. He concluded by seeking help from the government and philanthropists because they are homeless, and they are an extended family that doesn't have anywhere to go. Yamundo Kuka, Star TV News.
Well, it was devastating rainfall in the Gambia, as you already have learned. Many communities in this country were experiencing difficulties due to the heavy rainfall that occurred in the late hours of Friday, going throughout the weekend. And then we've seen a lot of disasters, but this one was in Ibo town, Sanyankunda family.
Yeah, every year during the rainy season, we do hear this type of news. We see them, and then it's always disturbing.
Yeah.
Actually, we have a department responsible for that as National
Disaster
Management Agency. Then they will always act only after troubles are. They seek support and other things. But this is a thing that Gambia don't experience too much rain as other countries.
Yeah.
And then you realize that the way our highways are constructed and other things, like we don't actually have a proper drainage system.
Drainage system.
If you look at Georgetown, Ibo town area, these are everything that comes from Serepunda will pass through that area.
Okay.
So this is a place that is prone to disaster. Then it's a place that the government should always put focus on to help those people, either to provide them with better housing facilities or to provide them a better place to settle. Because if disaster-prone area, no one should settle there.
Exactly.
Ibo town, that place, you realize that even when you are walking, stamp on the ground, you see it's shaking.
It's muddy.
I think water comes from, down.
The ground.
Yeah.
So the National Disaster Management Agency should not be just reactionary. Everything that happens, they react. But they should also be able to actually, participate in helping people to, in terms of settlement.
Focus on other things.
Yes,
exactly.
that this place is a disaster-prone area, and then you help them to have at least, before someone starts. Well, these are people who all have permits to build their building.
Exactly.
They pass through authorities, the Department of Physical Planning. Those people give them permits, and National Environment Agency, they are all here. They all have a role to play. So now they have this, and they are seeking support. The government will take lead in terms of it. We should not always be waiting for other people to support us. But the government can always help. This money that they spend on other things could be deducted and support people in times of need.
Yeah, but we've also known, Modu, this is not the first time it is happening. I think there was even a time when even there was a project, when Jaliba, produced a single track, to help the communities of Ibo Town. But at the end of the day, I think nothing happens.
Well, since people are still calling for help, I think the disaster management should, fasten their belt when it comes to assisting these people to address their need as required. Because I don't know whether it's a problem of poor planning or what. Because when everyone who is buying a land, I think you should go to the disaster management for them to advise you whether the land is suitable when it comes to settlement or not. Because if you look at the way people settle within the Joswang and Ibo Town areas, is too tight and the environment is muddy. So this is what enables the water to stay long and weakens their buildings earlier. And in fact, if you look at the mode of building they use mud block to build, which are very prone to disaster when it comes to heavy rainy season. And in fact, this year there is a report which indicates that there will, the Combos and some parts of West Coast will be experiencing heavy rains. So I think the disaster management and other relevant authorities should begin from there and try to inform people within those areas to prepare for such. Because as you can see, by now it's late. No one knows who is currently accommodating these people who are suffering. And as they call it, the government should try and see what are they supposed to do for these people, because it's urgent.
Okay, you want to come in?
Yeah, the issue is about town planning, as you mentioned. To look at our highways, they are not properly planned. Our settlements, the government and the council, they are always interested in, like, currently the council is going around
collecting tax.
Rates.
Yeah.
And then, but you don't check how they live. Then you don't even care what they do. You are only interested in the rate. What do you provide for them in terms of social services? Social service is what the council should provide. So look at Ibo Town and even their highway, that is the road, is not properly constructed.
Certainly.
There is no drainage system, not even an improper one. There is no drainage system in Ibo Town. Everything that comes flows on top of it. So it's either it goes follows the highway or goes into the residence.
Yes,
so this is what has been the issue at Ibo Town. If people cannot live there, let the government take steps and provide them where they live.
Yeah, but don't you think that it's also responsibility of the municipality to also take action? Because I've known that during campaign, all mayoral candidates went to Ibo Town, make promises because they know already what is the problem of the Ibo Town, and then they convince them that if we are voted in, we will be able to help you out to make sure that this flooding inside Ibo Town will be a thing of the past. But still now, nothing happens. At the Ibo Town, there's no development, nothing absolutely at Ibo Town. I think the municipality also has a big role to play together with the councillors also.
The biggest institutions in the country, one of them is the councils. The councils are responsible for development, area development in their area. They are responsible for those developments, for construction of feeder roads, construction of markets and other things. They can always generate things, but the issue is they are 100% interested in only the rate. And this is what has been the problem. Like today, I saw, it's not yesterday, today I saw someone being given $4,000 a rate. And they say it's 4 years rate. He did not pay for 4 years, so they charged him $4,000. I saw the document. Okay. I asked him, so what have you benefited from the country? I said, go and pay, it's a requirement, but you people also should know who to put in the office. Because it came to the complaint. So the promises are far from reach. Like, they will say something they don't even mean to. Just to convince you to vote for them. And after voting for them, nothing will happen. Look at the council, even the council, at the council, just outside council. Look at what is there. Nothing is there.
Yeah.
So they are busy constructing their office, a new office, KMC outside.
Yes.
That money invested.
Should have invested, yeah, exactly.
It's just like taking the former government taking money to buy hotels, thousands of dollars,
vehicles,
to repair aeroplane. These thousands of dollars they are spending on it. These hundreds of thousands or $400 million on social ozone bay and other things. These are things that will have contributed immensely in promoting or alleviating people's life in terms of difficulties, in terms of providing them social service. The government is not even subventing councils. Councils are complaining. And then now they have been hit by COVID-19. The government is giving them $1 million, as if that is a subvention. So the government has been failing to meet up the statutory requirement to subvent councils, but also councils also are failing the people by not providing them with social services. So
Okay.
the council that any mayor that is coming or anyone who is coming, councillors are not even paid. They are given allowance. So these are things that must be rectified. If you want to develop, you have to rectify these problems. That government and council must take their responsibilities. Councils provide people with social service. Let them, get this and they don't clean the drainage system.
No.
Now look at it. Some of the areas you see them open because it is now that they are cleaning. The government, I think the government is. I put some of the work and they say it's government. What is the council doing? They said it's not their responsibility. It's NRA. But whatever it is their area.
Yeah.
They have something to do. Let them do that thing and people will be saved.
While in fact they are collecting taxes, those taxes should reflect the aspirations of their people in their communities. But you hardly see them, you only see them when it is elections. But I believe these problems, these challenges the people are facing will be a learning course to the next presidential election or council or mayoral elections.
I know it has always been a learning course because this is not the first time. This is not the first time this happening. Well, after over 9 months of trying to return back home to no avail, the Gambia women who were stranded in Lebanon are finally back home thanks to the Gambian Swedish-based activist Lovett Jallow and her organization. In a statement on her Facebook page, Jallow excitedly announced that the 38 women, including 2 children, have returned home after they landed in Dakar, Senegal. Binta Koli reports.
Lovett Jallow is an activist who had been fighting for the return of these women for weeks. She got a lot of support from Gambians, especially on social media. At first, the government would not let her pay for the flight tickets so the girls can return. But the government later budged. She was allowed to pay for the return of the girls, and they have reunited with their families once more. Her organization became involved with Gambian women in Lebanon in August 2020, following its release of a video about the kafala system. The kafala system is a scheme in the Middle East where migrant workers, mainly from Africa, are trafficked into various countries of the region to become construction or domestic workers. Usually, the domestic workers are women who are lured with the promise of good-paying jobs, which in fact turn out to be a life of servitude, forced labor, rape, physical abuse, unpaid work, and in some instances, unpermitted removal of kidneys of victims. Upon the release of their video, a group of Gambian women who were victims of the kafala system in Lebanon reached out to Ms. Jallow to help them to establish contact with the Gambian Ministry of Foreign Affairs in order to repatriate them. These women had run away from their abusive employers, whilst others were injured in the recent massive explosion in Beirut, which left hundreds dead and thousands more injured. For more than 9 months, most of the women were unable to leave because their travel documents were seized by their abusive employers. The women expressed frustration at the lack of support from the Gambian Council in Beirut, thus leaving them helpless and had to fend for themselves in quite difficult circumstances in Lebanon. To fulfill her promise to these women, Lovett then contacted the Foreign Ministry as well as local organizations in Lebanon that campaigned against the kafala system. To their astonishment, the Foreign Ministry was not helpful, hence the decision to actively and fully undertake the issue of these women to repatriate them. After so many push and pulls, she was finally able to secure the deal for their repatriation. They finally returned over the weekend and are now reunited with their families. For Star TV News, I am Binta Koli.
Thank you very much. That was Binta Koli reporting on the 38 women who recently returned home from Lebanon. It was a hectic battle between Lovett and the government of the Gambia, Department of Foreign Affairs.
Absolutely. It tells a lot about a system. And these people do not have economic opportunities here to showcase their, or to live, to do work and live on, to survive. And this is what has led them to live in search of better, greener pasture. They went to that country in that's called Lebanon, and then they were working there, and then they have difficulties. They want to come back, and then I realized from the comments that they have been contacting the government for long, and they wanted to come back, but the government did not take proper action to bring them back. Someone who actually volunteered, who is a patriotic citizen, then use her money and then try to bring them back. Then you bring over arguments, that what arguments are you trying to bring? It shows lack of concern. That's what it's simple term, it's lack of concern. You cannot provide them jobs, they leave. They have difficulties, the simplest thing to do, tickets.
Bring them back. Yes.
Ticket to come back. You cannot do that. So why are people going to these countries is the issue. And the issue is at the hands of the government.
Yeah.
You are responsible for providing people services, promoting the general welfare of people. What have you done so far? Like, for example, let's take this government. You see, other government, when they are coming, we want to create 100,000 jobs. Or I want to create 200,000 jobs. It's a measure that they want to put, so that at the end of the day, people will be able to say, yes, we have achieved that. But what have these people promised in terms of job creation? Look at the NDP. How many jobs are they going to train in? 1,000 youths.
1,000 youths, yeah. The youth.
Every 12 years, we have more than 500,000 people who will come out of the school system. They will come into the job market. What is available for them? What is available for those people right now? So these people are not aimless. There are people who have aim, and they went there. Maybe many take them criminals. I understand. Someone made comment on the side of the government that actually offended them. And actually, I was also offended, because no one should say that. A person cannot live here just for another. That is happening here. If the allegation is true, that is prostitution or some other things. It's happening in Gambia here. Yeah. So why would they leave Gambia, especially for that thing? That's not possible. So it's an unfair comment from that person, that the person should actually apologize and withdraw.
Yeah, I think the government has a responsibility.
Certainly.
All right, towards its people, because if you don't provide somebody with job, as you already said, you look at the people who graduate from the university, from senior secondary school, all those people are going to the job market. So at the end of the day, they scramble there, but there is no job for them. At the end of the day, they are frustrated. When they are frustrated, then they will result going to the back way, going to Lebanon, going to Qatar. But this is not the first time. This is not the first time. There are so many Gambians in the Arab countries, right, who normally go to the Gambian ambassador, the Gambian consular office, okay, just to help them, bring them back, but it's difficult. It's difficult. This is not the first time. Other nations, it happens. But the moment they make a call, we see their government do everything possible to try to bring them back. So why is it difficult for the Gambian government?
This is one of this is another challenge faced by the Gambians who are trying to earn a living abroad, those searching for greener pastures. Because if you look at other countries, if you want to know their minds, just make sure that you touch their citizens.
Yeah.
You will vividly know that this individual is a citizen of a particular country, but it's not reflecting on our government. We have a lot of people, as these people whom they are alleging to be prosecuted, criminals, all sort of kind of allegations levied on them. But bring them back and try them. If you believe that they are prostitutes or criminals, I think that's the step the government should have taken, rather than trying to brand them with all sort of names. But with the good gesture of that Madam
Lovett, yeah,
she did wonders, because it's very it's very hard for, if you look at Nobel herself, you have people behind who she can help.
Yeah,
but she tried to ensure that to portray her patriotism to the people by ensuring that those women folks out there who are suffering, that he tried by all means to ensure that he came back.
Yeah.
They came back.
Yeah.
But in fact, this is supposed to be a big shame on the government, because
bigger ones.
It's very difficult. How, in fact, if these people were doing something great out there, they will be the first people to stood there and say that, you know, the individual is a sovereign Gambian, or a sovereign Gambian who did so and so and so. But he is alleged of crime.
And when you look at it, when you look at the situation, I think Lovett, I would say, he's a very strong lady. All right, because they did frustrate her.
Absolutely.
Honestly, they frustrate her on all angles, okay? But because of her determination to help her country, you know, she said, no, never turning back, right? Because I've seen one of the press releases from the ministry saying, okay, it's very difficult to bring these people back because of, you know, they owe some people, you know, money here and there. You are a government. You should take care of those things. If your citizen is facing a problem in another country, it is your responsibility, right, to take out money and make sure that, you know, those things are solved. Honestly, so
in fact, who is a criminal?
A person
a criminal is always the court is the
who determines
who is a criminal.
Exactly.
If people are all presumed innocent, and you know, you don't rely on one side to get a conclusion. These girls, I watch their videos when they make these, they stand together, speak. They're saying they're not criminals. They were thanking this lady. So you are, one party is saying you are a criminal, the other party is saying I'm not a criminal. So why is the government taking the side of those saying they are criminals? It shows lack of concern, as I said. In fact, it's the government that pushes them to go. It's because there's nothing here. People are living in poverty. Look at the services of the country. It's all western side. Look at the other side. There's no decentralization in the country. These are things that people must push. 50 years now, the government cannot turn back, and I cannot, for me, naturally, I cannot turn back and say this is what the government has done 100% and say, yeah, it's perfect. Nothing. The government is always relying on donors. The government doesn't believe in itself. So people believe in themselves and they enter in boats, canoes and other things to leave the country. Some go to other countries to work. Some go to Europe. See how Europe, a continent to a continent, from Gambia to another continent, Europe, there's something, a very push factor, a strong one that pushes people to go. And this is what the government should do. You see, all these grants they are doing, these trainings and other things, these are just fake. You train someone, at the end of the day, what next?
In fact, training without the materials.
No, or even without giving the person the, the job, that the person requires.
The person should be in charge. So this is what has been missing here. If these people come, what will they have arrived already? So what is the government doing for them? They want job. They cannot be dependent on their family, And this is what pushes them. So governments should even prioritize this and help these people, because these people have a lot of. So you are accepting people deportation. They are saying they did not sign. It's not important, but you are accepting them. You are receiving them. If you receive people, what are you doing for them? Where are all those who are deported? Where are all those migrants who went to Libya and come back, or those who are in Italy and other countries who are, they form an association. They will provide them trainings and other things, but to what next? What are you doing for them? Their lives still stagnant, nothing changed. So a government that is serious, will always prioritize providing services for the people. Create jobs for people. I want to hear from the government of the Gambia for the first time that we want to create, before 2021, we want to create at least 50,000 jobs for the youth.
Exactly.
So where you will see what they will do. But a government that is silent, they don't even make such promises because they know they cannot do it. There is nothing in place to do that.
And in fact, there was a report indicating that the unemployment rate is increasing now, is almost around 60%, which is too bad.
Especially regarding the coronavirus pandemic.
Regarding the pandemic. And we also registered the closure of some big institutions which have been employing hundreds of youth in the country. But due to some activities of the government, especially the taxation and other activities, have led to the closure of those institutions. So the number of the unemployment rate will keep on increasing, and we are yet to register an institution which is going to create more jobs.
Absorb more people.
It's time, our national motto is progress, peace and prosperity. It's high time Gambians take a decisive decision on one thing. It's either we move towards this or we live in deception, because we are living in the politics of deception right now. The issue of progress, peace, and prosperity. A prosperous society will be thinking on how to do better. Gambia 10 years ago and Gambia now, you realize that what has changed. Poverty is increasing.
It's increasing.
Every year, poverty is increasing. People are living in social degradation. People are living in savages. People are living in very horrible conditions. The Gambian youth will not save $1,000 a month. A person cannot get over. There was a survey that says people don't get $75 a day. There are a lot of people who don't get $75 a day. How did that? Do you expect that person to get land, build compound, live in a life of liberty, dignity, and prosperity? These are things that people must not.
And we also live.
We are we are almost going to approaching our 60s since after independence. But if you wake someone from the graveyard, he will direct you to where he was living. If you give him the same farm tool he was using during his childhood age, he will apply the same method to farm.
Yeah, he will say nothing changes in the Gambia.
So it's certain. It's high time for us to follow our models. Hence, though despite they are there just to symbolize, to brand our motto, that's it, we have a motto, but we should now start working towards achieving those activities rather than
to be a progressive society.
Thank you.
All right, the public relations officer of the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, in an interview with Star TV, said that despite the allegation on the death of Fatoumata Diba of Bakau, the public has to know that the nurses and doctors of the hospitals are doing everything possible within their powers and resources available to them in order to deliver to expectation. He noted that sending back emergency patients is not what they do, but an investigation has been launched. Dado Cham conducted the interview and she now reports.
Mr. Keba Sane said that as of now, the management is taking all the necessary steps in investigating the allegation that the said woman, Fatoumata Diba of Bakau, was on Tuesday at the ASB clinic to give birth, but due to some complications, she was rushed to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital and was allegedly torn down as they fear she was suffering from COVID-19. As the information circulated on the internet, the late Fatoumata was said to have delivered her first twins without assistance from medical personnel, and then a cesarean section was carried out to deliver the second twins. She had complication after the C-section and was rushed to the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital in Banjul. She was said to have been battling breathlessness when she arrived at the hospital, where she was allegedly torn down as they fear she had COVID-19. P.R.O. Sane explained to us the circumstances that could have been behind the allegation.
There is a lot of issues surrounding this one person. What are the issues there? The National COVID Response Team. We were told, the whole nation was told, that when you suspect somebody of having such a problem, what you do is you contact 1025. That number is not Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital. The lady was in one hospital. They said that they suspected the lady to have COVID-19 virus. My assumption is, where should they call to? If the government say we call, or the ministry say we call 1025, you made referral to this institution. We made it clear in Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital that we are taking care of only very serious cases, emergency situations, emergency cases. If Chaku was brought to this institution because he had complications in giving birth, that would be considered emergency and that would be attended by this institution immediately.
The PRO said that the investigation is still on, and before the end of the week, a result will be produced for the next steps to be taken. He confirmed that all discussions and legal communications have been done.
What we do is, as soon as we become aware of an incident, we launch an investigation. And that investigation has to be done, including each and every member of the management team. Discussions will take place. The concerned people within that particular area where that incident took place would be called in, reprimanded, to have explanations with regards to that sad event. Has that been done? That has been done, and it is continuing. What we did as a management was, when this incident happened, it was everywhere on the social media. I got calls from other media outlets for me to shed light on that. I cannot make unilateral statements with regards to this institution. And therefore, I pleaded to the people concerned, at least those people who have some great interest in it, to distance themselves away from making statements that might tamper with our investigation.
On Monday, the 7th, the hospital management released a statement stating that, in the interest of transparency, the outcome of the investigation shall be communicated in due course. Reporting for Star TV News, I am Dara Cham.
Well, we had that interview with the PRO at the Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital on the death of Fatoumata Diba of Bakau. It seems these incidents, are occurring frequently in our health sector because as of today, I was just going on social media. I heard there's another lady in Jokadu who also passed away, who was supposed to deliver and then passed away. I think the Minister of Health has to do something.
Yeah. It's a very sad incident as reported, and then I agree with the PRO that it's a sad incident.
Yeah.
And then the issue here is, they said they're investigating and it's going on. You know how many investigations that the government undertook and no one knows?
And they are not yet completed.
And this one is not an exception to that. What the issue here is, you are fighting COVID-19 that people refer to as a killer disease, and then you are also, how to say, compromising other illnesses, other problems faced by people, and then they are dying. So what are you trying to achieve? Eliminating COVID-19, fighting to eliminate, but people are dying. So this is true. The government must, and so that RVT should reverse the decision. I don't see it as a good and fair decision that they should only take, emergency situation. This is national referral, the biggest hospital in the country. If they are like the hierarchy is the top. So if you are only going to take emergency, and the other hospitals are also doing like this, and people are coming there, as the lady faced, she passed away. This will not solve anything. It will not help anything. Take situation. As far as the person came up to the hospital, take the person, cure the person. That's the best thing you can do for the person. Save life. If that decision is just to protect yourself, wear all the protective gears and save the life. You should not allow the person to undergo what they cannot be exempted. No matter what the PRO say, 125 or 1025. The government said in court, our decision is not to take all cases, our decision is just to take emergency.
Emergency, exactly.
All these are things that you contributed. Take the person. The person is undergoing pain. Someone who is at giving birth is at a very critical stage. So at that state, you should help that person to at least. I think for me, I see birth as a matter between life and death, because someone can lose life. So the government is saying they want to end infant mortality, people dying while giving birth. Some countries have achieved it. Gambia is moving towards that. So why are you compromising that strategy that you have? So these are all compromises that the government must not entertain. And this has cost us a life. And it's costing, as far as the information on social media is concerned, it's costing us several lives. So as far as things are, it is far from normal to have a hospital that only takes critical and serious yes, we should always take all cases. Let them take. Is it referral hospital?
I think it's not only about the issue of taking critical situations. All right. If we look at the incident, going by what's on social media, if you look at the incident that happens, in Essel, for example, according to the information is Menge Diouf needed urgent blood transfusion, but the midwife on duties at her district health center in Kuntaya said they couldn't administer it due to lack of equipment and inadequate training. She was referred to the SL health center, but guess what? The district only ambulance was out of service. Okay, so the woman who was in life-threatening condition was forced to wait for another ambulance from SL. So she died in the ambulance before they could reach SL. Menge was buried yesterday in our home village of Ker Omar Sen. So this is a very unfortunate incident. All right, here is with ambulance, and how can a district, only district that's supposed to, you know, care for the people living there, be out of service when it comes to ambulance? We've seen, you know, government buying vehicles,
Absolutely.
you know, fuel coupons, other stuff. Okay, I think they have to look at the health sector.
In fact,
yeah,
the government is robbing people. For me, that's how I take it. Look at the fleet of vehicles that follows the president when his convoy, the vice president. The vehicles that the ministers are having. These are vehicles that are very expensive. Hospitals are here. There are some wards that do not have even a health center. They don't have access to basic healthcare service. This is a Gambia, 50 years old. A 50-year-old man is an old man.
Yeah.
50-year-old country is also half century. The country should have gone beyond this. As you explained, some vehicles, how to say, ambulance should not be a problem of the Gambia, especially district ambulances.
Yeah.
That should always be in service. The ministry has to ensure that people have ambulances. You know, these communities, you know, at least here you can call a taxi to come and pick you in the combos. Well, let's consider those people there. You know, they have distance. Villages having some kilometers as distance. How can you wait for an ambulance to come?
Yeah.
That's supposed to take you to come very far and then take you. And once you are in a critical condition,
it's too sad.
It's a matter of life and death. So
sad.
This is like sacrificing people's life. That's how I see it. You are responsible as a government. These millions of hundreds of millions that is allocated to the Ministry of Health in the budget, national budget. You have two, recurrent and development budget. Let them provide people with enough medication, enough ambulance. People you need. These are things that, in fact, you should not even, you know, have a second thought. Provide them with this.
In fact, if you look at the COVID funds, the minister himself to inform the members at the assembly that they bought 33 ambulances, but we only saw 10, which came from Turkey. What are they? They have distributed those ambulances. Where are they? We are only seeing 1 or 2 of them within the combos here. How about those in the provinces? So it's certainly losing life because of our ambulance service. I think, you know, we're supposed to we should have graduated from this such problems by now. As you made mention of the 50 years now.
Yeah.
50 years, you know, it's beyond that. And within the combos, as you rightly mentioned, we have taxis. There are people with their own vehicles. Every 1 or 2 compound, there's someone with a vehicle.
Yeah, vehicle.
But how about those in the provinces? In my own perspective, those in the provinces should be prioritized when it comes to distributing ambulances or giving ambulances to such communities. The lady, the first hospital where the lady was, you know, inducted into, complained of what equipments and
lack of training.
Lack of training.
You know, to carry that.
We have had a lot of capacity building trainings here. Why not, when bringing such service like such trainings here, why not we consider our health system? Let us go by a scale of preference whereby key things that affect our societies, we go through those things rather than, you know, centralizing everything within here, the combos. It's too bad. So look at her. If at all there is someone who's supposed to come to the combos that very day, the individual will also die, like how this one is succumbed to death. It's too bad.
In fact, if you need medication at some of the hospitals, in the public hospitals, they will refer to pharmacy. So it's like the government doesn't have financial muscle to provide people with health. Health is about saving lives. It's not like security. Look at how much is spent on the Ministry of Interior. What is that providing us? Take the police, for example, the immigration and other things under the ministry. They are taking a lot of percentage, huge numbers from our budget, national budget. Cut that part. People there is ECOWAS protocol that you should provide 15% of your national budget to how do you say, to health, and then you cannot provide health. You are giving health very small. Even that small thing is not reflecting on the services that you are providing. So it's either you are not putting the money in, or the money is not sufficient.
It's not sufficient.
The government should not sacrifice people's life. Health is the most serious, important thing that you can do. Let's talk about education. Let's talk about agriculture and other things. But health should be primary. And this is what the government should always put into consideration.
All right.
Well, the PRO said that they will launch an investigation regarding the matter. So I don't know how solid is the investigation going to be. Who are the parties involved in investigating? Who are to be investigated? These are things
I think
the PRO failed to mention.
Yeah.
How soon will they come to conclusion regarding their investigation, and what are the steps going to be taken when they came out with a tangible evidence regarding the death of this lady?
Well, you can preempt what their investigation will come out. The PRO is trying to create something like doubt.
Yeah.
The government is telling the person first went to a hospital and they suspected her. They should have called 1025.
Yes.
Now the blame should not be shifted to Edward Francis Moore.
The blame should be shifted on the other hospital.
Yes.
But now what will happen? I think the media also has a big role to play in it. Try to follow up, with the PRO. Try to see whether it has been investigated or not. All right. So women who come from different places in the Gambia gathered at Denton Bridge to sieve groundnut waste, which is dumped by the Groundnut Corporation after shelling. The women who work to contribute the welfare of their families rather than sitting at home as they live from hand to mouth through working hard by taking the leftover groundnut and separate the shaft and the seed. These women told Star TV that the government is yet to come to their aid. Awasane reports.
Mariama Juf, one of the hard-working women, said that the first difficulty they encounter is the issue of vehicles. They will stand by the road for hours before having a vehicle. According to her, they sometimes used to go to their workplace for nothing because they do not gain anything at work. She further said that they did not even receive the bags of rice which were distributed, and they also have children at home. Those children are the reason why they work hard to put food on the table. She added that the rainy season has made it difficult for them to have access to groundnut waste. Therefore, they only gain money from few gardeners who need the waste. Next to speak was Jainab Sise, who also urged the government to come to their aid by providing facilities for them to make a better living with their families. In her explanation, she said that it is very hard for them to have clean water around that end, so they have to walk a long distance in order to have clean water. For Star TV News, I am Awasane.
All right, thank you very much. We've seen the report by our Sane. Gambian women are really working hard, right, just to make sure that they meet the demands of their family. These women are always at the Denton Bridge to sieve these groundnuts, separating the chaff and the seed together, just to make sure that they're able to make some income earnings. But at the end of the day, I think they also need help from the government, and this is not the first time. I remember reading a story on Fourier newspaper, where they also said the government should come to their aid, and in fact they said Barrow never waved at them, when he passed. They said the then president, I think, used to at least wave at them or get down, greet them, that's them something. But they said this current government, I don't think that is not happening, and we are in the rainy season, and right now they are out of employment. Absolutely, and I think if these COVID-19 funds are available, they should also be factored in.
You cannot eradicate poverty without investing in agriculture.
Exactly.
And who are the most important people in agriculture are the field workers, those working, farmers, this type of people, the traders. All those people are important in agriculture. It's just like you have people who are ready to do something.
Yeah.
They have aim, and as I say, they have people even living under them who they should even take care of. What can you do for them? Is it by giving them money? No. Well, help them at least improve what they are doing. Let them realize some gains from it, not by getting every day, living by day. If the person is sick tomorrow, how will that person go to hospital? The hospital bills, who is going to pay for them? The children are going to school, who is going to take care of them? Are you providing enough scholarship as a government? So the government must not actually forget about these people. Waving at them or not, the president is just a personality. We are talking about the government. The government should invest in agriculture, help those people actually, improve on what they are doing. The government will not do anything for farmers. At the end of the day, the government would come and tell farmers, this year we are saying the ton of groundnut is this price.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
You don't give them enough fertilizer. You don't give them seed. And farmers will only earn once in a year. This has been a problem in the Gambia. At the end of the trade season, they earn. They have to wait till next
season again.
Clear the land, grow, and then
and again.
That's how they are doing. 5,000, 10,000 whole year. What can it do for you? You don't participate in what they do. That's why the government should not. The government's plan of making Gambia food self-sufficient. If you realize Ghana has announced it that the 2022-2023 cropping season, by the end of that, they will not import rice. They're eating rice now. They're homegrown rice. So why can't we emulate our brothers who are in Africa here? We have the land. It's a simple thing to do. It's not like you waste it. It's not like you're taking it for a presidential tour where you waste money or you're traveling. It's just wasting money. This one, you are trying to invest and you get something back. The government should invest.
But I think even this grow what you eat, I think we started it. We initiated it before Ghana.
Yes.
Started in the Gambia. But at the end of the day, right now it died out.
So it's an investment that will run. Government would get. It is not like a wastage of people, and it will eradicate unemployment, and it will eradicate poverty also. But if you look at the fisheries sector, all these sectors you must invest. The government is not giving money to people. For me, I don't prefer you train people, give them 45,000, 35,000. It does not help them. What helps them is put them into that service, let them be in charge of it, and then you see. People, they will employ people. People are ready to work. Governments have aim. I hear some people. The other time I saw someone who is senior man, in fact, a permanent secretary at a particular ministry, saying the government should now see fisheries as a lucrative venture. What is that?
In fact, saying that it's a lucrative venture.
There's a saying that says
it's supposed to be that the required equipments are there.
Absolutely.
That will motivate them to engage in it. Currently, if you look at it, we are not having fish as it's used to be before.
No, it's
because
scarcity.
they are saying that the scarce is in.
Fish is expensive now.
The fact that the Senegalese, whom we believe as the big fishermen, have flew back to their countries due to the COVID. But I was chatting with a fisherman yesterday. He told me that it's because of the weather, not because of the absence of the Senegalese.
Yeah, I think the weather play a big role.
And if you look at it, those people, when privately create their own, boat and look for all what they need to go in out there and fish. How about government? Let them create a venue or an association or an organization where people will employ, an organization which will employ people to engage in fishing. Let them train people. Let them give them the equipment required and see whether they will not venture in the fishing industry and see. Though we do produce good fishes. We see the Chinese and other companies, coming here, buying our products, going away with them. So when it comes to the farming also, we see companies like Karafi and others whom are using our soil, our land, to make sure that they get their own gains out of our land. Can government not invest and produce those kind of companies or industries? So these are all things we're supposed to look at it. If you look at also when it comes to rice farming also, there was one of my trips in Janjampure. I saw youths in farming in the rice field, cultivated, saying that this is where they gain their source of income, farming. But those people also are not empowered. They are using the local tools. This is why I said, if someone who died 50 years ago, whenever you wake that individual up, if you give him the same farm tool, he will use it.
He just died now. Yeah, exactly.
The dilemma is, in other countries, if you announce yourself as a farmer, they see you as someone, at least not a poor man.
Yeah.
But Gambia, if you announce yourself as a farmer, it's like you are a very, very poor person. Why?
That's the
it's because there is nothing available. Farmers are still using their traditional tools.
Yeah.
The government has, which ministry has more projects than the Ministry of Agriculture?
No.
There's no.
Yeah.
But what is the impact on the farmers?
It's not visible.
Farmers are still, in fact, even to provide farmers with adequate information. Can we only grow, they will tell you, rice, millet and other things. There should be year-round farming. It's possible in the Gambia.
Indeed,
it's possible.
Indeed.
We have the river.
We have the river.
We have arable land that we can do this. So, but the problem has always been the motivation. People want to work. Everyone cannot be in the office. A farmer should, in fact, be a rich person. Why? Because you are feeding someone in office. And the office
well, gentlemen, time is against us. They say, don't give me fish every day, teach me how to catch fish. Well, time is against us. Right here on Star TV and Star FM. Any final words?
Thank you. And then the program has been interesting, and then we hope that the government will actually take its position to provide people with better services, so that people will move out from this condition and live in life of prosperity.
Well, finally, to the government again, let them try and ensure that they work towards the plight of the people. We are registering the floods, the security issue, the health sector. All these sectors have been affected either by one way or the other. The needs for good services, equipment, like a woman died due to the absence of an ambulance, and all sort of things. So let them try by all means. Let them ensure that they work towards the aims and aspirations of the people as they promised during their political campaigns.
All right, thank you very much, Modu. Thank you very much, Yankuba, all the way from Foria newspaper. Well, listeners and viewers, so we've come to the end of the program. Till we come your way once again, that's going to be another lunchtime news review on a Saturday. Sarah Camara and team say bye to all of you out there. Bye.